first had an interest in art as a child. We loved drawing and doing that sort of thing, and anything to do with reading and sketching was always promoted. Why did I take up the challenge? Because frankly I was shanghaied by Wesley Mission.
So the whole project came about. One day Richard Duncan came to my office and we talked about art, and I told him that we had organized for the past 2 years a beautiful art exhibition with the local schools and aged care facilities. And I specifically mentioned one of a beautiful artwork that was produced by our resident Phil Mulray. And in the discussion, Richard Duncan brought this idea, say, but why don't we approach his residents and try to get him to do something special, something spectacular, something out of his scope, and see where it takes him. And the idea came that we could invite him to produce an artwork to enter the Archibald Prize.
So they bailed me up in my unit with my wife one day and said, "You've got to do a portrait." We discussed who we might approach, and we thought local VIP on the North Shore, and Tony Abbott said yes. But I'd never really tackled portrait work. I approached an art supply shop in Mona Vale. Did they know any artists who would be proficient in portraits and oil painting? And she said, "Oh yes, there's a lady at North Narrabeen near where you live, and she's got a portrait painting class in the coming weekends." A week later, I was in her weekend painting course. That set the scene. The Archibald Prize requires entering artists must have at least 3 hours sitting with their subject in live pose. And the first one we could obtain was mid-January at his place in the forest. We arrived at 4:30 in the afternoon. We had to climb a multitude of steps with our gear into his house, and I've got to tell you, there was a lot of drinking there, but it was all bottled water and iced drinks. But sadly, my charcoal sketch, under the stress and heat and age, and despite my earlier efforts, made him look like a Neanderthal man. And I think he was somewhat taken aback. I was worse than that. I was aghast and knew we had a long way to go.